Today we'll be going over why Pawn Stars is losing all its viewers. Let's get into the video. The plots are repetitive. When it first hit the airwaves, Pawn Stars had some semblance of a program that you would find on the History Channel, as in it being a show about history. A seller would come in with an historical item and Rick would explain its significance in history, thus giving us a fascinating history lesson. However, as with any channel undergoing network decay, the show deteriorated into the annoying arguing seen only in the realms of the reality TV shows. It became less about history and antiques and more about family bickering. The old man complains about something, Corey and Rick make some comment about his stubbornness and age, and then Chumlee does something idiotic to break the tension. Someone comes in with an item, an obligatory factoid is brought, then it's back to the Kardashian-esque drama between the guys. The episode then ends with Rick and perhaps Corey rolling their eyes at the old man's nostalgia, with Chumlee in the background as a pawn shop's perennial court jester. Other than one or two major transactions with various one-off segments, the show resembles just one of the many equally foolish shows about which family members can say the stupidest statement before the next commercial break. It's flanderize its cast and jump the shark. Eventually, every long-running program reaches the most dreaded of television trope milestones, flanderization and jumping the shark. When these occur, it's over. The show's on life support and nothing more can be done besides pulling the plug. First off, there's the flanderization, emphasizing one character trait until it's the only trait of the cast. When Pawn Stars first began, each of the guys had realistic roles. Rick was a knowledgeable straight man who could negotiate tough deals. The old man was gruff but likable. Corey was a young incomer trying to prove himself, while Chumlee was comic relief, who still knew enough to work the shop if he had to. Plus, they all had interchangeable roles if need be. Now they're so scripted, there's room for anything else besides each guy's one role and predictable dialogue. Even the sellers who come in could all be the same uniform individual, rather than the colorful characters from the show's infancy. Then there's the shark jumping, which is when a show turns to cheap gimmicks and outrageous scenarios to get those precious views. Pawn Stars is hardly advertised for what crazy historical item people bring in anymore, but for what stupid antic Chumlee is going to do this week, or what generation gap thing the old man is going to complain about this time. Plus, the supposedly outrageous plots might be somewhat entertaining, but are also painful to watch, because they have already done so many times before. They're not just jumping the shark, they're jumping the same shark all the damn time. Chumlee's legal problems. Chumlee, the adorable dimwit of the show, has proven to be a fan favorite, but recently that image was shattered when his home was raided earlier this year in March, with enough drugs and weapons found to put Scarface to shame. The reason the authorities actually went to his home in the first place was due to a former pawn shop employee accusing him of sexual assault, so right off the bat the story is incredibly dark. The police seized marijuana, methamphetamine, and drug paraphernalia in such great amounts, they suspected him of being a dealer. They also found 12 guns, only 4 of which were actually registered by Chumlee, and a chum chum room where they found a dancing pole, a bag of white powdery substance, and a dollar bill with white residue. After Chumlee was exposed as a Grand Theft Auto villain, he was arrested and charged with various drug and gun crimes. Chumlee took a plea deal in May, which allowed him to remain out of prison with 3 years probation, leaving him with plenty of chum chum time, though hopefully drug-free this time. The effects of the scandal were clearly felt, or at least we assume they were, since History Channel has remained completely mute about the ordeal. This begs the question, will Chumlee ever return to the show? This, along with Rick possibly reducing his role, means that the two most well-known cast members of the show might not return to the future. This brings us to the end of our video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.